The charts are moving, the candles light the way. I've done the work, I'm ready for the day. No noise in the signal, no fear in the soul. I've got the vision, I'm taking back control. The numbers tell a story, I know every line. Because the preparation meets the perfect time. Consistent, I'm doing it right. I am calm when the tides start to rise. I am profitable, I see the prize. I am a futures day trader. This is my lane. Master of the market. I've broken the chain. I trade with clarity. The fog is rolled away. I trade with edge. I know the moves to play. I trade with control. I'm steady at the wheel. A mind of pure discipline. A heart made of steel. Every tick, every trade, according to the plan. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. Yes, I am. Patience is my power. Execution is my craft. I don't chase the candle, I let the prophet find the path. If I am successful, I am the light. I am consistent, I'm doing it right. I am calm when the tides start to rise. I am profitable, I see the prize. I am a futures day trader. This is my lane. Master of the market. I've broken the chain.
Order submitted.
I trade with clarity.
Order submitted. Order
I
filled.
trade with edge. I trade with control.
Order submitted.
I am profitable.
All right, speculators, let's fire up the Futures Fanatic live stream for our Wednesday edition. It is Wednesday, March 4th, 2026. Thanks for everybody who's here. Let's see real quick. Let me move this over so it's lined up. If I can get a 1 for picture and sound, sounds like somebody already put that in there, that would be fantastic. Just a quick update. There will be no giveaway today. I'm trying out this new software that's called can't remember what it's called. Now this machine is frozen. This browser's frozen over here. Is everything working?
Order filled. Order
I
filled.
think this browser's working. This looks frozen to me over here. Frozen. Totally frozen. It's not good. Rut-row. Rut-row. Okay, let's try this again. It was working for a second, and then the browser just froze. I think we're good. Are we good? I think we're good. This browser froze. So, did you guys hear the music? All right, I think we're good. I'm just going to start talking and see if this thing works over here. So, thanks for the ones in there, and then the thing crashed. Anyway, I'm back. Before I get started, I want to remind everybody of the disclaimer and risk disclosure. It's really important. You can pause the stream here if you'd like to read it more thoroughly, especially the part of at the top where you don't want to eat yellow snow. You want to look both ways before crossing the street, and the market doesn't care about your feelings. But also the part that's highlighted, which is the presentation is for educational purposes only, and the opinions expressed are those of the presenter only, and should be all trades should be considered hypothetical and should not be expected to be replicated in a live trading account. All right. One last time is this. God darn it. The browser keeps freezing. What is going on here? Let me see here. Maybe I'm running too many things. All right. Let me know if this is working, please. See if we can continue on with our trading today. I'm just going to take off these shorts in the NASDAQ here. And I'll have a long on there. Reshort up here.
Order submitted.
Get out of a few of these things.
Order filled.
Okay, so MES, we have some shorts on here too. I'll get through my Kerpos in just a moment. We can get going on that. I'm trading now a series of... what happened there? Don't want that.
Order filled.
There we go. So the only Kerpos I have is just short the MES. Okay, so we're good. Okay, cool. So I don't know if you heard me before. There will be no giveaway today, but I will do one tomorrow, and I'm using this new, maybe that was the reason that the thing crashed and the browser keeps getting screwed up. I'm using this additional plugin that's going to make moderating, as I grow this stream, make moderating better, a lot easier. We can just use sort of keywords for giveaways, make it a lot simpler, because the giveaway yesterday was not great. So I got 17 emails, 17, from people that said they won or were close, and it was just not the right way to do it. I did give one to somebody, and then I gave 9 away because 9 of you actually signed up for the $250 deal. So that's fantastic. So what it's going to be going forward is we're basically going to reward people that are here on the stream. Apparently the way this works is it will give a higher weighting to people that are frequently on the stream to sort of reward viewers that are here quite a bit. And then we'll just do a simple keyword. And anyway, I'll mess around with it. Hopefully I'll have it set up for tomorrow. The only difference in the giveaway will be that instead of any account size, they're just going to be end of days for 25,000, which is the most appropriate thing to do for the TDG way and what we do here. So that's the end of that. Then the next thing is I'm going to do a recap and look through some of the trades in the Dow Jones today. It was another sort of masterclass in the Dow Jones. If you were in my trade room this morning, I think there was some goodness that happened in the first 15 or 20 minutes where I explained a number of different filters and considerations that you can use to develop your own situational fluency. The D word, discretion, is a bad word for a lot of people. So replace discretion with fluency. You're gonna develop fluency so that you can make decisions in real time and see what is happening with the markets relative to your DRB, your skill set, the time of day, the candle that you're trading on, all those things that will start to come together. Okay, what else can I say today? We're going to talk a little bit more about the end of day programs that are available from Apex. As I discussed yesterday, Apex is the best firm for those that have figured out how to do this. Some of you feel like it's the best firm for you to take shots at and buy and trade real fast and do a bunch of size, and I get it. They allow you to do that, so don't hate the player or the game. Don't hate the player if the game that they're giving you is something that you can do that. But if you instead consider doing something like this, where you are... So what this is now is just 5 PAs, because I'm going to transfer out of all of the PAs and move to the new program. I might as well. So I've taken plenty of payouts from these. So we're going to transition eventually. I'm not going to just kill them all. But what I'm doing is going through some 50s and some 150s and some statics and a little bit of everything. But this is just the TDG way. The results that you see here are just trading micros, no more than 3 to 4 micros in any given account. You guys can eventually all do this. If you trade minis, it's not a matter of if, just when you are going to blow up. And if you're going to fool yourself into thinking that you can get off the crack and trade a mini or huge size just to get through the evaluation quickly, and then you're going to switch gears and be a good old boy or girl, so few of you are capable of doing that. Instead, just take your time. Now, I understand on these new programs, it's only a 30-day subscription. So I got a lot of feedback where people are, you shouldn't recommend this. You said go slow. And look, do you need to make slight adjustments to get through these programs quicker than what I initially said? Yeah. But if you're struggling with that, come on into the trade room. Ask anytime what my Kerpos is, my current positions, and what I'm trading in. Speaking of Kerpos, here's this account right here. So up a whopping $47 with $10 of unrealized profit here. And I'm just short the Dow Jones. You saw yesterday this account hit a new equity high of around 60,900, and that's about where it's at right now. All right, so also basically getting flat all of these accounts right here. Let me just move to this one. I'll just cover that.
Order filled.
And I'll cover this.
Order filled. Order filled.
And now we just have 2 contracts
Order
left
filled.
in these last accounts. And I'll just let this one run. Put in a buy stop.
Order submitted.
Okay, so at that same short.
Order
Anyone else
submitted.
short the S&P or anything here as we enter the afternoon? So my Kerpos is short MES and short the MYM. And in just a moment, we'll go through the MYM trades today. We can just do a back test of those or a walk forward. So question, how are you approaching a 25K account with Apex to pass? 30 days is a little quick for 125 DRB. I agree. So you're going to have to increase your DRB a little bit so that you can increase your size a little bit. So what that does is that goes from 1 to 2 MYM to finding your way to 2 to 3 MYM and operating with probably a $2 or $250 DRB. Are you going to make it on the first try if this is a major adjustment? You might not. Okay, you might not make it on the first try. But let's take a look at the MYM this morning, because so what I'm going to do is just go back to the beginning of the day, which is right around here. Okay, this is the cash open right in here. Okay. Now, markets started the day basically on a barely inside day, and we are also, now what we need to do is, of course, reference this too, because we're referencing both of these at the same time. So let's come over and look at this. Okay. So the first thing we want to do, this is the This is the opening candle right here, okay? So those that are familiar with how this works, first of all, we have an offer zone up here. This is a big zone. This is our highest probability area in which to initiate shorts. As you can see, we have not got up to that level today, okay? This candle drops, then pops, then comes all the way up. You're looking at this at the same time that you're referencing this over here, and I've talked about this a number of times before, okay? I'll get into that in a little bit. So for now, we're just going to watch stay in your lane, and we can get involved right off the bat if we want, because there was over 60, 70, 80% ATR range. In terms of the amount of range, the ATR on the Dow Jones right now is around about 800, right? Where is it? 784. So you need about 600 points of range or so, and we had more than that. Now, what I don't want to do is do any cherry picking. So let's say we were not looking at anything in terms of the range trader, in other words, the 30-minute. We're just going to trade this blind, knowing that we have enough range to trade it, okay? So let's start with this. The most important thing you have to start with is, do I have enough range to even consider any of the bands and trying to fade what looks like strength right here on the chart, right? And the answer this morning was yes. So what we do is we start going like this. And I don't know, let's just say we have a short in here at around whatever this level is, 48.80, okay? So we're short, okay? There's first target, okay? So we would call this 1L, meaning we went line to line one time, okay? So we are 1-0. Now, if we want to be intellectually honest and say, what if this hadn't worked out? Where's my stop on this? Let's just use 1-to-1s right now, not 2-to-1s, okay? So if I get in right around here and I'm targeting here, obviously the market's moving, so you just pick a little spot there, okay? So that's a 128-point target, right? So I would have a 128-point stop around 920s or whatever. We didn't hit that, right? So it's 1-0. Before I go any further, and I know there's a 20-second delay because my compliance group said I have to have a 20-second delay on my YouTube streams. I have no idea why. Anyway, any questions about what I just went through there? I know some of you are in my group and very familiar with it. Some of you might just be finding this stream for the first time ever. What I'm looking to do in these streams is to do a little bit of entertainment, rant for a little bit, and create some content that I can use for social media so that people can come over and find out about what we're doing. What we're doing is a series of small account challenges, using then eventually leverage and copiers across accounts, and doing these programs the only way that you can do them. I'm going to say that again. There is no other effing way that will get you to any kind of consistently managing risk. I do not give a shit about Jade or anybody else that's taken millions of dollars in payouts. It has nothing to do with responsible risk management relative to the account sizes. If you follow any of that, you will not succeed. It's just math. It's not my opinion. It's just math. You cannot use highly levered products at 5 to 10 times the initial and maintenance margin from the CME and expect that you're going to have any success. Okay, so I asked if there was any questions on this. Let me see. Are your VWAP bands the order flow ones from Ninja? Yes, these are the standard order flow bands that are available on Ninja, and they're the standard settings. So they're 1 and 2 standard deviations from VWAP. Over here on, why don't we just let's take a little profit. Lock it in, $75, baby. Over here, I'm using something called VWAP Standard Bands V2, and the settings are 1, 2, 8 for the first band and 2 for the second band. Okay, so these settings are slightly different. Now, the next question we get is, how can you get access to the bands on NinjaTrader if you do not own NinjaTrader or have a lifetime license? The easiest way to do that is to work with a firm like Apex. So go to Apex, buy an end-of-day account, 85% off now. I think the sale's still going on. I misspoke in my original video and said 90. I believe the sale is 85% off. Get yourself an end-of-day. Get your set up with TradeView, because TradeView you can connect to NinjaTrader, and then go into TradeView and activate the order flow suite, and you get it for free. Okay? Apex is one of the firms that use what's called TradeView Props, so you can get it for free. Do you ever adjust your ES rank sizes? You mean the Renko sizes? No. They've been at 6.1 forever, so I don't do that. So the VWAP bands, we just defined what they are. They're the order flow suite. You can get them on NinjaTrader essentially for free if you buy an Apex account. Please use code TDG. What does it mean, enough range left? I don't know if I said something like enough range left. You'd have to ask your question a different way. Still confused on the ATRs and when to trade. Okay, here we go. Let's do it one more time. All right. So the first thing you're going to need to get is you're going to need to get yourself access to some way of measuring the ATR. The easiest way to do that is to come into my trade room, and while supplies last, you can take a trial and you can get this workspace that I'm using on Ninja for free. That's not going to exist anymore very soon. Very soon it will only be for members. So you can come into the trade room and you can listen to me breathe heavily in the mic, and you can figure out whether you can figure out what's going on in 10 days, and we'll do everything we can to help you. But I'm not going to give away my templates anymore and how to set everything up. It's not going to be like that. All right? Just going to come in and you'll figure it out. But for now, you can come in and import this workspace for free because it's included in the trial. And you can have this column right here, which is the ATR column. And let's take the S&P, for example. Okay, so the S&P has a 7-day ATR. That means the average expected range over a 23-hour period in the S&P right now is 109 points. Do you think that's a useful thing to know? Do you know that there's literally nobody out there, literally no one else out there teaching this? So if you can get this concept down, you're going to be ahead of everybody else because no one teaches this. They might look at ATR over the current session, or they'll look at ATR on a current candle. No. We're trading for 5 trading days during the week, right? So back out the weekends because there's no trading really there. Use a extended hour trading session and know what is the expected range for the entire 23-hour session. That might be useful to you. Okay? Now, there are 3 major sessions, right? There's New York, there's Asia, New York, and London. Or Asia, London, New York, right? In whatever order. I live in the United States. I trade the New York session, and markets are open 23 hours a day. I only care about what's happening up to and leading to the point in which I'm going to trade. But all that range and everything that happened, what Kramer calls the pajama traders, but what are really the activity that happened in the Asia session and the London session. Notably, here's what's important and not important about that. Our stock market is not open during that time. So those truly are pajama traders that are influencing and moving around a market in which the underlying indice is not open. So if you want to trade Asian sessions, trade the Nikkei. If you want to trade the London session, trade the DAC. If you want to trade the New York session, trade the New York session when it's open. Don't be one of these numbnuts that's at midnight Eastern trading the NASDAQ. It's just stupid. Now you can trade gold. Gold moves like a drunk monkey all the time. But if you've noticed, gold moves the most during the New York session. So back to how to use percentage of ATR to inform your decisions. As a guide, as a framework, what we talk about is 50% of this range should be in before you consider doing anything in terms of mean reversion trading. So I'm not very good at math, but let's call that 55 points. So what you need to see, okay, what you need to see is, go back to where is the, hate when I, here we go. Let me move this market analyzer out of the way. So what you need to see is 55 points has taken place in the S&P before you would get going on trading the bands or doing anything. Now that is just a framework. Every time I teach this, it's surprising to me that the next question ends up becoming, what if there's not 55% or 50%? Sit on your fucking hands. Or what if there's 40%? Why don't I look to, or if it's trending up, should I switch to range? Should I switch to trend trading? I don't know, maybe if you can figure it out, but how about learning something first that puts probabilities in your favor? The only thing you have to know is that today, all the stock indices had well over 50% range when we started because the markets were down last night. NASDAQ down to 250 and reversed all the way back up. Now it's up 435 points. But what's interesting is that the NASDAQ now with a 500 ATR has gone from 24 fives to 25 twos. So there truly has been volatility today because that's a 700 point range when the expected range is 500. Do you think that's useful for you to know? Do you think it's useful if you're going to consider to short the NASDAQ here that you know that it's already put in 120% ATR and probabilities are in your favor to fade the move here? Now, should you do that in the afternoon? Do you trade well in the afternoon? Should you take any trades? I don't know. You can put all that stuff together later. But what you want to start with is the math associated with what's going on. So thank you for the question. That's a very long answer to it, but hopefully I can capture this and my team can capture this so we can snip this and provide a learning moment. Framework only, no hard rules. You don't need any sticky notes on your machine other than I will not exceed my DRB. Remember, those of you who are Gen X or probably older or a little younger, a little older will remember standards. I'm sure they don't do standards anymore, but that's when you write the same thing on the chalkboard 100 times as a penance for doing something wrong. Okay. So let me just answer a few more questions and we'll keep walk forward testing our, we're back testing. We're not walk forward testing. Walk forward testing is what you do every day. You come in and you trade the hard right edge of the chart. You don't listen to all this nonsense and assign value to bullshit that happened in the past that's completely meaningless. Is there structure? Is there some clues by looking left? Of course. But what you need to do is come in and trade the hard right edge of the chart all the time. I'm teaching a strategy in which every single trade is set up ahead of time because there's lines that you put your orders on. Those lines are prior session high, prior session low, prior session POC, +2, -2, and sometimes other levels that might exist. Okay. So just curious, does the extreme turn indicator on a 30-minute calculate on bar close or price change? You can set it either way you want. You can have it, there's settings, you can calculate it however you want. I think the default setting is on bar close. So what'll happen is you'll see it flash sometimes. If you have it set to on bar close, you won't see it. If you have it set to real time, you might see it be flashing, and then you just want to see if the bar closes with the condition present. You said you have to check if there's enough ATR range left to start trading. Yes, so I just went through it. So we went through that a lot. Does anybody know a good prop firm to trade DAX or FTSE? You can trade the DAX at the Trading Pit, and they're a good firm. I'm doing some back testing and had some results using a DRB based on the ATR. Yeah, you can do a DRB based on the ATR. You can. My thoughts are that if it's working and the thing on DRB though is that's fine, but what strategy are you using, right? Because what I teach is it all comes together, right? We have our DRB, which is informed by our account size, and then later informed by our ability to generate units of alpha based on units of risk. So yeah, screw around with it. Anything that's dynamic, I'm a fan of. Can you explain why we should use 128 versus 1? I can't explain other than that's what the developer had in there. So I rode the horse that I took to the stable. You're welcome to come in and change it to 1 if you'd like. The other thing to understand about the way these volatility bands work is that they're going to be they're going to be slightly different depending on the time period. So what I've tried to set up is something in which the 5-minute is closest to the tick charts, which are the Renko charts that I use over on so if we did a comparison right now, you can see we're at 48,973 as the plus 2s on the MYM, and we're at, well, I don't want to compare right now because I'm doing a back test, so I'm not going to do that. But they should be pretty close. There is a micro Nikkei. Do you have to use prop firms for this strategy? No. What I'm teaching is how to manage risk in a small account. And then over here, this account has $60,931 in it. I'm going to trade the same strategy, and you'll watch me. This account will close this year at over $100,000. I guarantee it. Probably more. Trading what I'm doing here. You can tune into the stream. Yesterday it was up $1,000. Today it's up 58. No real opportunities to trade it today. I did want to show something here. I digress a little bit, but people are always looking for different strategies and everything like that. Come on in and start to just watch. And this is only going to happen generally around the open or the first hour or so. But these are volume bars. So visually what it's showing you is the wider, thicker the bar, the more volume that took place there, right? I had talked about buying the very next bar each time you see a volume bar when it's whether it's red or not, but that's a little silly. Obviously, we'd like to do this in the context of our additional strategy. So we came down here. We did not quite hit -1. Now remember, today we had plenty of range to work off of, so we could have been trading -1s, or not have to wait for -2. Anyway. See, once you get this volume bar, you just buy every frickin' volume bar until it reverses. Now you take heat here and you're like, oh, I should have got out. So just look at that on 5 minutes, look at it on 3 minutes. Mess around with that a little bit. You can get volume bars on most platforms. How do you use the red and green lines on the Renko bars? How do you use these? Okay, so these are one of the nice things about using the Renkos is that they do provide these swing levels. Okay, these are 13-period swings. Okay, the bigger the retracement of the move, the longer the swing level will be. So I don't use them frequently. I just like visually the way they can show a potential downtrend. If I get a very large, long one, generally something that it's more of a visual thing, then potentially I'll use it as a target or as a potential level. As we go through the test here on the Dow, I'll show you if we have any swing level that's interesting. But it's a good question because it's one of the advantages of having these types of Renkos. There's no swing periods that are going to be visible and meaningful on minute-based charts. They're only visible and useful on a tick chart, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and continue. Remember, we're 1-0. We're 1-0, all right? Don't pay attention to that order there. That order is resting in current time, not there, okay? So we're in the middle of the muck now. There's no trade, all right? Now, again, we are only going to do the stay in your lane the way it's originally taught. In other words, I'm not going to buy the pullback to VWAP, but as you advance, you can use this same strategy to potentially trend trade and buy pullbacks to certain levels. Some people might even start to mess around with buying pullbacks just to the +1 as a way to enter. You look like a champ on days in which it does trend and doesn't give you any true two-way action. But the better way to do that is at least a half an hour into the day. Make it show you that it's holding a particular level, okay? So right now, we're heading down. Remember, we have our, let me just close this so it doesn't get in the way. We have our order resting right here on this line now. Okay, right at 48,674. Or if you're a lot more conservative, we have it resting up here at 48,810. Okay, remember we already have one win. Okay, we have an order resting right there, 48,404. Do 10 out of 10 trader dentists agree that this is all safe? I'm not cherry picking anything. This is today's session, by the way. And this is 11 minutes into the cash session. We're 1-0, and we took the first short because we had more than 50% ATR. Okay, so we had more than 50% ATR, so we're going to take the trade. And now we're long from 48,404. And this first target is VWAP. All right. I think we hit it. That's close enough. I mean, we don't have to, you can do your back test however you want to do your back test, but I'm going to say that that's 2-0 right there, okay? So we're 2-0. That VWAP touch here is not a short. That's not a short. That's not a short. All right, boom. Okay, now we're short again. You could say you added there and you're short again. All right, now here's a little subjectivity, but I'm going to say that we took it off. You don't have to let it, hit perfectly but again, if you want to say no, this is set up that there's no envelope or band, but I'm going to say we're 3-0 now. Okay, maybe 3-0 with more size on because we got a double top there at 560 at 656s or whatever. Okay, so we're flat again. Boom. All right, we're short again. Okay, now I'll tell you how I'm trading this. I'm resting in order to sell more at the +2s. Can you do that? I don't know. Trader Advocate Brad talks about taking only $50 to $100 risk total per trade. So maybe you already got stopped out of that plus one touch. But I should have pointed out that I'm always going to trade line to line if I get in at an original level. Okay, so there's one contract on there or two contracts on there, and boom. All right, now another one. So now I'm short 2. Now what has already happened? I'm 2-0 or 3-0. I think I'm 3-0, right? So we're 3-0, and I have made some amount of money, $300, $350, maybe $200, depends on your sizing and all these kinds of things. That gets added to my DRB. So I don't like the concept of playing with house money. It's more trading your P&L. You have taken the trades, successfully executed them, so now you have earned the right to take a little bit more heat on this particular trade. You don't have to. You can always use, as long as your entries are dynamic, I don't give a shit if you want to use fixed stops. Okay? But I'm going to say I'm now in a 2 lot, and we'll see what ends up happening here. Okay? Now, this is taking no graceful exits. I have a whole video on my YouTube channel about graceful exits and ways to be impatient with losers or what have you, right? Boom. Okay. Did you take a little heat on this trade from a +1 entry? Absolutely. Okay. Did it rip your face off the way I like to hear? So there would be a lot of people that would look at today as they were trading and they say that the Dow was just in a uptrend day the whole day. No. It's actually still in a downtrend. Okay? So now we are essentially 4-0. If you want to poke some holes and say you want to do your back test differently, then do your back test how you need to do your back test. I'm showing you how to take on a little bit more risk, a little bit more size, okay? So now we're resting an order again at the plus. Boom, we're short again. Okay, see what happens with this one. I don't know, maybe we took profit, maybe we didn't. Maybe you're just in this thing the whole time. If you see the orders there, you can see what I did, at least in this account. So I'm short from in there. And I took it off right here. I don't know if you were seeing all this, but there's trades in here that are going on. But now, without a doubt, we are, I don't know where you want to measure it from, but we're 5-0. Okay, we're 5-0. Maybe we're 4-1 if you got stopped out on that first one. Okay. That's not a long entry there. You got your order resting at, there you go. Okay. Any questions about what I just showed? By the way, those are shorts, all short entries except for one. We had one long entry on a day in which the Dow is up 300 points, a rebound day, right? Now, if we were to do the same thing on the NASDAQ, it'll drive you crazy because the NASDAQ is like letting a crackhead mow your lawn. So you're welcome to go over there and apply the same thing. And yes, it does work on the NASDAQ. And yes, you could have made money on the short side on the NASDAQ today, but you would be banging up against a creep higher for most of the session. Whereas the Dow Jones was much more orderly and is usually much more orderly and is where you should start. If you are a black belt, meaning that you have successfully passed dozens of prop firm challenges and successfully taken out dozens of payouts, then you're welcome to maneuver around these things a little bit different, trade the NASDAQ if you'd like. But you do not need to do anything more than 2 to 3 micros. 2 to 3 micros in the MYM to achieve what I just showed you today. And we really didn't even have to talk about stops on any but the second trade in which it briefly moved outside the bands after we assumed we got in at the plus ones. Adam, how are we in an uptrend? There's no uptrend. Where is there an uptrend? On what time frame? I just disagree. There's no uptrend in. We have a V bottom off the bottom from Tuesday. There's no uptrend. How are we in an uptrend when we're trading 48,008s and the highs were 50,500s? You'd have to zoom out. Obviously on high enough time frames. If you go out enough, we're in an uptrend in everything from the beginning of time, right? All right, let's see. What do we got here? So you short from the plus 1 VWAP band to VWAP and from the plus 2 VWAP band to, yes. So your first targets are line to line. That's correct. So if you're in at plus 1, you're out at VWAP. But as you saw me show, don't be in at plus 1 if you don't have the risk budget and the ability to add another one at plus 2. This is not double donkey down. It's not martingale. It's the way professional traders trade. It's the way professional investors invest. They do all their research. They're going to buy a position. Do you think they tell their desk, hey, I would like you to buy 5% of my portfolio in this all right now, today, right now? Of course not. I mention Buffett all the time. He mentions all the time that after when they're ready to buy, he wants his first purchase to be his worst. Go back and listen to what he says about it. He wants his first trade, his first buy, to be his worst. Not his best. He doesn't want that to be the bottom. He wants to be able to accumulate at better prices because that's how things work. So if I'm short, I want to be short at higher prices if I have a level. And the other thing about today that was great was that we had, where was it here? Where's my chart? Right here. We have this level that's been up here the whole time. We couldn't get to 48,942s. Adam, where's the uptrend in the Dow Jones? I mean, I don't know where it is. This is a downtrend, my man. Every short, you're trading with the trend. Would love to hear a discussion on stops one day. I talk about it every day. We don't have to wait for one day. Let's do it once again. I literally just talked about it today. Thank you for the question, but I talk about it every time. I'd love to hear, so let's talk about it from this level right here. There's people in my group that will know exactly. If I want to know what my stop should be on a 1-to-1 for first target for 48,894, what would I do? I know that's a lot for you guys to type in the chat, but I'm going to get short because I'm resting an order on the hard right edge. I'm not looking at all this bullshit back here. I got nothing else. I do have the 30-minute open. I want to know where this level might be relative to the 30-minute, which is going to be in the offer zone. So that's going to give me an SOS2, strength of signal, more reasons to want to get short. That's why I'm resting the same short up here, 48,973. All right, I won't wait for someone to put the whole thing in the chat, but on a 1-to-1, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from my entry to my first target.
Order filled.
And I have 172.
Order filled. Order filled.
Sorry, there was just some trades in gold there that I was doing. Okay. I'm going to measure this 172, and then I will ask if I want a 1-to-1 reward to risk ratio, how far above my entry is my stop in points in the Dow? That's right. So someone put in there, if you have a 1-to-1 goal, just use the ruler, measure the distance from your entry to your target, and then put a 1-to-1, 172. That's the correct answer. And if you want a 2-to-1, then just cut the 172 in half. You know what I love about the stream and about getting out there and finally getting some of this stuff out there is I'm finding others start to talk about it, which is great, because the vast majority of everything is the stops and targets are guessing, or they're looking left, or they're talking about put it over the last swing high. If you want to guarantee that you get stopped out all the time, put it at the most obvious level for algos to run and sweep. So there you go. So Diego Lima, you got it? There you go. To my knowledge, nobody else on the planet teaches what I just showed you. You can use it for stocks. You can use it for whatever you want. Just make sure that your entries are dynamic and your targets are dynamic. If you trade, 8-tick stop to make 22 ticks and think you have any edge ever with slippage and commissions and costs and randomness, you're never going to win. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. You're never going to win. Anybody out there ever showing you anything that's like that, tick-based with this and this, I risk this, I'm the best scalper in the world? Never. No. Math will kill you. Not true. I have more experience than anybody else that you're going to hear on this mic. Okay? Not true. It will not work. If you are Renaissance or Jump or Citadel and you have 1,000 PhDs working for you and billions of dollars behind you, and you're a market maker, yes, scalping will work. High frequency type of trading like that will work. If you try to replicate it, building your own bot or logic or what have you, or you try to manually do that, not only will it never work, you're going to get crushed emotionally. So when I show this, the common factor is, what if it doesn't, quote, work, or if it trends, or I get killed on this? We've just gone through all the filters. Are you trading with at least 50% ATR? If not, shut up. I don't want to hear from you. Don't mean revert. Don't tell me that it didn't work. Number two, are you trading with a daily risk budget? If you don't have one and you don't know one and it's more than 10% of your starting account value, you will never succeed, ever. Vary from what I'm telling you at your own peril. If you don't believe me, tune in every day, watch the balance of this account at 60,000. This is the first time, honestly, in 20 years of trading education that I've ever done this. In the past, I used to show $40 or $60 or $80,000 accounts, my real live accounts, that I was trading through Mirus, which was a clearing firm that Dorman ended up buying, which is now Ninja Brokerage. And I'd have $60,000, $80,000 on the screen, and I'd be trading a 2 or 3 S&P, and no one could have the type of success that I had, because backing that was also a couple $100,000 additional dollars if I was wrong and things like that. That world is gone now. Do this with small accounts. Is a small account anything under a couple $100,000 to trade the futures markets of real capital? It is. If you have less than a couple $100,000, you're trading a small account. And if you try to spin up $5,000 or $10,000 in real money or in prop money, you have a better chance of doing it in prop, because they're not using real margins, and the cost of capital, if you will, or the cost of your simulators. So look, I get the appeal of trying to take shots and do that, but ultimately you're just wasting your time. You're not building a skill that you can use in the real world. So if you want that, or you want to buy brand new end of day accounts, which is what we're talking about, all these are brand new. I just bought them. We're at 153, 154, 156, 156. So I'm $3,000 away from passing this in 3 frickin' days. I just bought these on Sunday night. All I'm doing is trading 4 to 6 to 8 micros instead of 1 to 2 to 3, which you can do once you figure this out. In the trade room, I'm doing 1 to 2 to 3. Come into watch the replay from today. Sometimes my group gets frustrated because they'll say, why are you already done for the day? I'm still trading some things for you. I just don't need to do it across all the other ones, because pre-market, I was up around 4 o'clock this morning. We had a nice little drop, and then it just popped. I put on 6 and 8 micros across all these accounts and made $1,500. To me, that's very stress-free, because I don't want to be trading that same kind of size in these live accounts in the morning, because if I get caught a little bit, it's very distracting to me. Right? I come in and want to have as clear a mind as I can for the trade room every morning. Okay, we had our market on close orders. We've moved through the whole session today. Okay. Okay, so I love the comments. The only time you get screwed is big expansion days. No, you don't. The only time you get screwed is if you let any single trade from entry to exit. So you buy one, you buy another one, maybe another one, whatever, or you start with 3 contracts or whatever you do, and you have a DRB of 300, and you're sitting there looking at this number right here, and it says $150 down, okay? And this is assuming you've made no money, so you're eating into your DRB, right? And you don't hit the close button on any given trade, and then at a series of trades, you're down $300, you hit the close button, you're done for the day. Let's go up to, I think this is going to start, okay. up here in Wealth Charts. Wealth Charts inspired me to go to Claude Code and ask it to write some script, which I just started testing Monday. And I think I'm going to test it for a while. I'll probably never commercially make it available, but you can build this same thing on whatever platform you want. And by this same thing, I mean you just put in a max loss, and if it hits that loss, it locks you out, and you can't even see the way it works on Wealth Charts is if you hit your loss, it locks the account, and you can't even see it. It's really cool. You cannot access this account until the open of the next session. If you end up hitting your, I know it works because I tested it on this one account right here. By the way, also a series of $50,000 accounts, end of day, purchased on Wealth Charts on Sunday night. And I don't know if you can see these balances here. It's a little small, but I'll be done with them this week if I wanted to. Trading just what you're seeing here. I'm not cheating on you. So the comment about it works until this, no, it works until you don't work your own situational fluency, discipline, patience, whatever you want to call it. There's nothing about the strategies I'm teaching you or any strategy. I don't give a shit what you do. Everything works and everything doesn't work. I'm just trying to show you stuff that's a hell of a lot simpler and that you can walk forward test and back test. Because all that iceberg lettuce, reverse ham sandwich nonsense, you can't back test any of that. Draw a fib level, draw a trend line. I mean, God bless that girl. She's probably making $200,000 a month, maybe more. God bless her. Girl power. Drawing trend lines on charts and charging $5,000 to say that there's any edge or use to that. And I can pick holes in strategies all day long. And I don't know anything about how she's suggesting risk management other than the fact that I think she went $250,000 into a hole and into a gold trade at one point. All right, we just hit target there on the Dow. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, $92.24. Let's move code TDG out of the way, and that out of the way. We use code TDG if you're going to buy any of these Apex accounts. There we go, $92.84. You can ask me for balance. You can ask me for statements and all those things. How about just watch someone grow an account in real time in front of you, doing the same thing that I'm talking about. By the way, I'm not here to sell any course because I don't have any course to sell. I'm simply suggesting that you should come in and check out the trade room and learn how to do this right. Today we had 74%, I think, profitable, and nobody hit their DRB. Exceeded the amount of money they could risk. About 20% lost, 70% made money, 10% did nothing. Yeah, whenever you get screwed, you just screwed yourself. You know what's great about my strategy? It works every single day if you work on yourself. Every single day, including the days it's unprofitable. Great. Congratulations, Fred. All right, I think that'll be it for today. Tomorrow, I hope to... I will bring back the giveaway. We'll do the giveaway. We'll do it in a better way. So please tune in tomorrow. And you have a better chance of winning according to this software that I'm going to try to use. I think it was freezing my browser, but I'll try to use it, where we'll be able to you basically get more entries into the giveaway if you're here more often. Okay? I just wanted to do it on attendance. It doesn't have to be based on engagement. I don't need people to spam the comments or feel like they need to, create artificial engagement. Anyway, another pretty good session, I think. Let me go over here and flatten everything.
Order filled.
And there it is. You don't have to add that up. But for the first time in a long time, I have more evaluations than I have funded accounts on the screen here. But that's just because, Apex did this thing. I want to move the accounts over to that because I did find some of those things frustrating. Oh, let me leave you with one last thing. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this is pretty cool. The dashboard has gotten really detailed. So this is an example of an account that I just took. You see where it says has one pending request? So I just took the payout. They haven't reflected the balance yet. And this is one of the, what do you call it? One of the legacy accounts. But I can tell you that the other stuff is working, and you won't necessarily see this anymore when you're eligible for the payout thing. All this stuff will have taken place in the background, and you just hit the button. We have to take Apex on their word on this, but this is the way the legacy accounts work. But they're really nice in terms of the one thing that doesn't make sense is it says the consistency rule has been broken. This is not really true. What is true is not 8 days and not 5 days with profit, because I just took and then I took a pending payout request. But my understanding is of the new dashboard and platform and stuff, none of this will be there. So should be pretty cool. Oh, another thing that came up and constantly comes up is how much of a buffer to leave and all these things. Again, that also, it depends. I generally try to get my 50,000s, of which I really don't have anymore. I'm just doing some on wealth charts to test out wealth charts. I bought 5 over there, which you just saw. But I'm just running with the 150s on everything because it gives me more time to trade them or whatever. And I can work with like $800 to $1,000 DRBs on 150 accounts, which would be much too large on a 50,000. But anyway, I like to almost double the necessary level for the payout. So I think this one is 2,600 or something like that. So I like to double or triple so that I can withdraw the amount and then have the buffer there. Okay. But this is just kind of a guide, meaning that I'm not doing this all the time. I'm not spinning these up. I'm not focused on this stuff. I do it to prove that this works and to make sure that I'm in touch with what's happening with all these firms and how they're paying people out. Okay. All right. I think that will be officially now it for today. Okay. Cool. So real quick on Claude, because I had actually 3 people felt that I was irresponsible to recommend Claude, especially things like co-work, without acknowledging all of the potential risks. So please do your homework, and if you're going to allow any software access to your machine, make sure you're aware of what that looks like, and you're welcome to do your own research and things like that. I run Claude Code and co-work off of a VPS that has somewhat limited access outside of that. That being said, all the potential security vulnerabilities and everything of giving access to any piece of software doesn't really change just because it's AI or anything like that. This is in my humble opinion. Am I a computer scientist? No, I'm not. But what I do know, since I'm a pretty heavy investor so one of my largest positions is CrowdStrike and a few others. I'm very aware of the security, that cybersecurity space. You would probably not be surprised to hear that over 90% of all vulnerabilities in which there's actual hacks or things, they happen from email. They're email intrusions generally, and they're from people in phishing scams where they just willfully provide their information by clicking on a fraudulent link. So that being said, be very careful if you're using any kind of new technologies and stuff. Don't just go in and connect every single connector and give it access to every single thing on your machine. Mess around a little bit with it. If you're doing the coding aspect of it, it doesn't have nearly the same sort of vulnerabilities as maybe a co-work does. But you're going to want to set up your GitHub and get the Supabase set up and some other things if you're going to start trying to code or create apps or things like that. All right. That will be it for today. Stay green, trade like you mean it. We'll see you at the stream tomorrow. If you got it this far, I'll say once again, I do still have some of the codes. If you decide to join the group, it's $249 for 90 days. Okay. That gives you full access. That also gives you the workspaces and the templates and Discord and the extreme turn and turning point and all that good stuff. But it's really the core of the service is 90 days inside the trade room. They're all recorded if you can't make them. If you put in the time over 90 days, you will figure out how to trade properly, get through these programs. I think it's well worth the $249. But if you sign up, I will also give you one of those Apex. So if you want to guarantee that you get one Apex account that otherwise would cost you, I don't know, somewhere between 20 and $60, you can do that. The link is in the description down below to join the group. Last thing is, please do hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. You can't chat, I don't think, if you're not subscribed to the channel, so most of you probably already subscribed, but you never knew. And the final thing is, I'm finding that a lot of people are starting to share this content. So if you know people that are into trading and hanging out other places, hopefully they're getting value at wherever they're spending their time. But share our message is what we got going on. And if you come into the trade room and end up getting involved, Brad and Steve and others can help you out and even get you involved in our affiliate programs so that you can potentially get compensated if you refer someone to our group. And then the final thing is that look in the description also for the Discord. I'm willing to work with my team on the fact that Discord is still this necessary evil in the trading space. So we have a Discord. It's pretty active. We have this whole free area here. So if you want to get acclimated really easily, just come into the free area and, all these channels, welcome to TDG. There's where you can get the ebook. Here's where you can get the free course. Here's where you can get the free trial. We have a whole testimonials area here. And then there's other ways to get to accelerate your entry into our group if you want. But at a minimum, please make sure you come and download this free ebook. Okay. Again, the way to get into the free Discord is to look for the link in the description. Okay. There's a link to all this in the description. There's also a link to the free Discord, which is probably for a lot of you an easier way to find the way to get all this stuff. The ebook also comes with a 10 video course in which I read the book to you. So if you don't like to read, you can just listen to me read the book to you basically and go and provide a little bit of additional color. Surprise, surprise, what's in the ebook is the only way to do this is to trade small, to start with the Dow Jones, and to respect the daily risk budget. If you do it any other way, I know everyone wants to start with the strategy. The strategy for passing the prop programs is a risk management approach that's based on math and sanity and margin and reality. That's how you pass. Don't worry about what the charts, don't start with the charts. Start with the framework that you need to have some success here. We'll see you at the next one. Be good. Bye-bye.